Hey, what's up everybody, BDF 44 coming at you in another video. So I just came out of the Target, got everything I usually get, just a few things, nothing too serious. But I tell you the truth, man, this is the strangest thing I'm gonna say. I feel like I'm high, man. I feel like I'm off of a very strong strand of weed and I haven't smoked anything at all. And at least, shoot, I had like one little last hit of weed 3 days ago. One hit, it was just the final bit of it. And it hit me hard too. And I did not really enjoy it that much. It made me feel very jittery, to be honest with you. But yeah, man, I don't feel like myself necessarily. I feel like I'm kind of walking and floating a little bit, head a little light. I don't know what the heck that's about, but yeah, strange stuff. Maybe it just comes from being in the house all morning. I don't know. No idea what that's about, but I don't know, man. Something strange about mental illness. I tell you the truth, man. Some days you feel better than others. And when you're used to smoking daily, like I used to smoke before I got on this side of town, I think it's almost like you expect to feel like that, as opposed to what it feels like to be sober for long periods of time sometimes, honestly. And so, yeah, I feel like I'm off a strain of weed that's pretty damn strong, and I'm not off of anything at all. I am sober as I've ever been in my life. But as I'm walking down the street, it's starting to warm up a little bit. It's only about 3 o'clock, probably something like that, but it feels like the sun is starting to finally bleed through, man. And yeah, man, stomach's full. Like I told you, I ate before I left the house, so it's good to walk that off. And I started doing my suitcase squats again this morning. Nothing too heavy, but I try to up it to 30 reps from 25 in the last time. So, you know, just trying to keep up with my fitness, man. Keep up with my diet, keep up with my fitness, and hopefully just continue to try to work against Father Time as I push 40 next year, you know. Excited about it in a way. For a number of reasons. One, because I'm halfway done with this crap. You know how I feel about life sometimes. And the other is because I don't actually feel 40, don't necessarily look like I'm 40 in the mirror, so I feel like I can have a good 40s, because my 30s pretty much sucked, man. Honestly, my 30s were trash. So hopefully I can kind of have a 40s a new 30 kind of thing for myself. Definitely not the new 20s, because I do not want to do anything 20-year-olds are doing. And you check out my video from this morning, I was talking about at some point men got to grow up. We do. So to be honest with you, I don't want to go back to the 20s. I don't want to act like I'm 20. I don't want to think like I'm 20. I don't want to move spiritually like I'm 20. All of that stuff was just clueless, man. That's another thing. When I think about my spirit, I'm much more spiritually inclined. That's what I was talking about in the previous video. Just wanting to turn to God, because I don't really trust myself when it comes to me telling myself I'm fine or telling myself things are bad. I've officially reached the point where I really don't trust me. I don't. I trust myself when it comes to certain things, but not when it comes to when things are alright and when they're not. It's one of those situations where if I'm moving in the spirit, the Lord will let me know things are fine, and when I'm not, I will predict the opposite likely. I will tell myself stuff that is probably good for me is what I don't want to do, and I'll probably tell myself things that I want to do gonna bring me great results when they really don't. So that's where I'm at with that. I think I'm officially there as of today. But you know, it just comes from a discipline of turning to God more and continuing to work on my spirit and my practices, staying away from lust and sin and all kinds of stuff like that. And since I've been on this side of town, I've been very good about that. I'm not wasting money on weed and stuff like that. That is, I ain't quitting weed. I'm not sitting here telling y'all that I've quit smoking. It's just, I just want to be a lot more responsible with the money that I have left. You know, it just is what it is. And you know, when you go and buy $40 worth of weed, all that's going to be good if you buying $40 more dollars worth of weed when you ultimately run out. And that's exactly how that goes. And then you deal with what comes with being high, which sometimes, depending on the strain, can be heightened interest. Other times can have you stuck in the house, not wanting to move, jittery, like I said earlier today. I don't have any interest in feeling like that. Jittery is not the feeling, because that is also part of being anxious, and I think that was part of the problem. One of my videos I did, I think it was the one where I turned off the light. That was about an hour after I had hit that little bit of weed I was telling y'all about, and I was feeling all nervous about having to go to 66th Street, and then proceeded to have that dream that was horrible. So yeah, that's kind of what it is, man. If you're not getting a strand that you know works for you, chances are you might be doing a dance you don't want to do, just buying weed, like what I would otherwise be doing, going across the street and just trying something. This is not the time to be trying nothing. So that's really what it is, man. Rich people and people who are in there have financial good things going on, when their money is right, they don't have to really worry about this, I don't believe. But for people like myself who needs to, hug every coin, yeah, it's not a path I want to go down right now. It's not. I want to, but I just got to discipline against it, and I'm okay with that. The Lord is making it so that I'm choosing correctly in this way. So, there'll be a day when I won't have these financial issues, I believe, and when that day comes around, hopefully I have these habits to kind of discipline myself against certain things that don't need to be done, so that I'm not just letting myself run with whatever and my spirit go wherever it wants to go. Sometimes, and that's another thing, you smoke the wrong weed, sometimes it will have you dabbling in stuff spiritually you shouldn't, because it'll take your head into a place where you otherwise feel like you're somebody else, you know what I mean? You feel like something you shouldn't. And so all of those things require a lot of prayer for myself. I don't know if anybody else has that experience, but anything I do, I need to check by God first to see if it's cool, man. And what I'm asking him to do is open up something else for me in regards to living. With this being the last week at this place and me being comfortable here, I just need to lean into God very much to be able to prepare for whatever the next thing is. Whether it's as comfortable as this, or me hopping around from somebody's couch to somebody's couch, or whatever the hell it's going to be if I'm sleeping outside. I don't really know what's coming. I really don't. But most people, I'd imagine, have plans. But I do not. And that's another reason why I don't necessarily trust myself. Because if I were a better planner, none of this would be going on. So I think that's what these last 24 hours has been about. It's just after I got off the bus yesterday coming from 66th Street, got on this side of town, I just realized that my brain be lying to me about certain things. Even though I'm wise and talented or whatever, it comes down to my anxiety. It doesn't actually tell me about the experiences that I'm going to have, or really predicts anything at all. So as I grow now, growing past that moment, that trust for self ain't there. It's like, nah, man, whatever my anxiety's telling me, it ain't really telling me the truth. And even though I feel it, I probably should do whatever it is that the Lord wants me to do in regards to, let's pray about it and then get some understanding as how to move after that. So fortunate enough to be someone who can trust the Spirit, fortunate enough to even know of the Spirit, so to speak. And I just need to discipline myself to go toward more, as I've already said. So that's what it is, man, the discipline. You wake up in the morning, you ask God what you want him to do, or what he wants from you, rather. And that's what I want to do. And I think this morning I got up and I felt only compelled to do art. The Lord, when I prayed, said, Lord, how you want me to approach this day? And it was more like, all right, check the playlist. The music came out on Thursday. You need to see what's out. And so I did that, and lo and behold, the playlist worked as well as it ever has. And I just felt like that was another sign that God really was on board with what I was doing today. I don't know if the playlist is, the app is ever going to work like that again. Never has before. So, that's kind of what came to me. It was like, just do what comes naturally to today. We're not going to really worry too much about the details of life, because we gotta adhere to the fact that it's Saturday, and most of the places you would want to contact are likely not going to either be open, or people are likely not going to get back to you. So just take this day to understand that what we're really doing here is being creative. That's what this is about. It's not about some of the other stuff that I have to adhere to. Me not following the Spirit coerced me into this space. If I would have been following the Spirit the whole time, I'd probably have been in a safe space to do what it is I do, had all the money I needed, and all of that. So that's kind of what came to me this morning. It's like, look, I'm here. I want you to do what I put you here to do. And you let me worry about some of the other particulars, and I'll compel you to do those too. Just stay close. That's kind of what I'm getting from it. So he compelled me to get out the house. I didn't want to sit in that hotel room all day. I really liked the meal that I'm putting together. You know how consistent of an eater I am. So I had to go get everything I needed to complete my meal. And yeah, I'm running through my bread faster than I usually do. I told you guys that bread, they give you feet and feet and feet of Armenian bread But because I know it's so much of it, I've been putting like double on my plate. And it's that good, and it digests so well because it's so flat, you know. It's like pita, only better, to be honest with you. So I can tell you that's gonna be one thing I miss about this side of town. But if I'm able to get the apartment that keeps me on this side of town, you best believe I'm gonna frequent them all the time. I'm gonna want my bread. And it's only like $5. And it can last if you just don't overeat it. So yeah, man, I'm starting to get used to living over here, which kind of sucks. I got everything I need in regards to finding the meals I like to eat. And it's too bad I can't stay. You know what I mean? That's what it really comes down to. It's too damn bad that I can't stay here because I'm starting to finally get settled. And that's all my mind really wants to do is find a place to settle in, and then I'm cool. You know what I mean? That's the problem with Linux. I just got settled and got used to living the softest way I could, not paying no bills, you know, only worrying about the cell phone bill, that kind of thing. Everything else didn't get paid for. And that's why I'm in the situation I'm in now. If I would have been in the spirit more, instead of letting myself do whatever and then going to the spirit when things were really bad, I probably would have been led in the right direction. But I didn't trust it. But enough has happened now to make me trust it. And so now it's like, all right, God, what you want me to do? I'm feeling comfortable. Can you help me through that? Because I know it ain't going to lead me to nothing. And that's exactly where I'm at with that. You know, it's almost like opposites day. When you feel anxious, go toward what you got to do. That anxiety is probably trying to block you from something good. You know, I don't know if anybody else ever had this experience, but for me, if I ever had butterflies in my stomach, it was usually trying to lead me towards something that was no good. Particularly if I saw a female that gave me butterflies, chances are she probably had somebody or something like that. Throughout my 20s, I'd have stuff like that happen. They're like, yo, don't trust them butterflies. Them butterflies are trash. I don't know if anybody else had them problems, but me, my butterflies are attached to sin most of the time. It's like, nah, I don't need nothing like that. I don't need nothing like that. So I haven't felt anything like that since then, probably like 22, 23 years old. But usually when I have butterflies, chances are it was pointed at somebody that wasn't right for me. And so it's like I said, some of them good feelings that for myself, they lie. Some of the bad ones, probably what I need is behind those feelings, or behind the wall that those feelings are trying to keep up in front of me. That's a blockage, spiritual blockage, so to speak, that kind of thing. So as I said, I'm still trying to figure that out. And the only way to figure that out is for me to pray more and trust what comes to me in those prayers. And that's the compass for me, man. That's my true north at this point. I know better than to get comfortable. So that's really where I'm at with it, man. That's the game plan from here on out. Check with God. If you feel like everything's fine, it's probably a problem. You need to be doing something else. If you feel like something's bad, chances are you need to pray about it and make sure you're not blocking yourself from something that probably is good for you. And I don't know if that applies to anybody but myself. That's just how it's going for me. So yeah, man, half a block away from the hotel at this point. It only takes about 15 minutes to get there if I'm walking at a good pace. And I enjoy what I purchased, so it was well worth the walk. And that's really it. Anyway, so that's how it goes, man. I'm tired of feeling the way I be feeling on days, you know, like this, when I don't have my life together. That's not the good feeling, man. Get tired of all of it. Get tired of people when your life ain't right. People and their energy and how they look at you. It's like, man, I wish I wasn't around you. If my life was where it's supposed to be, you would never have to walk past me. And that's how I feel about a lot of stuff these days. So yeah, man, just going through what I go through, but still trying to display what it is I know I'm supposed to do, which is my talents and stuff like that. So that's what you're seeing here. That's what you're seeing is me trying to do what comes naturally to me. And hopefully it can turn into something, man. Because this struggling thing, it ain't for nobody, man. You know, being broke, it ain't for nobody. So good luck to everybody trying to find their way in this world, trying to get their money, trying to get their mind right, trying to, you know, raise your family. I'm fortunate and sad that I don't have a family at the same time. It'd be nice if I did, but it would be even better if I could do something good with them in regards to leading them in the right direction as opposed to leading them to a hotel, something like that. You know what I mean? So at least the Lord was gracious enough to keep me from just being that kind of person and just spread my seed all over the place. You know what I mean? At least these anxieties did that. And gave me the habits of not being somebody that does too much out here in that way. Or really any way for that matter. So it comes with its perks. I'm telling you. It comes with its perks. It's almost natural for me to be 40 and not think about having no kids attached to me. It's like that's supposed to come later or something, even though I'm already well past the age I'm supposed to have it. With everything I got going on, it's a good thing that I'm not carrying myself toward anybody else. So, back at the hotel, man. Gonna go in there, put this stuff in the fridge, and figure out what God wants me to do next.